Hello, and welcome back to another exciting episode of Consumer Vibes. I know. Last week I left you on a cliffhanger. You didn't know what to expect. You don't know what country I'm going into. But let's just give it one extra pause. If you're new here, you literally just tuned into how I travel the world in 45 days, visiting 10 countries. Yes, I did that. So before we get into the whole new country that I'm traveling to, let's just take a quick break and we'll be right back. It's Consumer Vibes. 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 All right. Welcome back. So the next day, day 19, I had a flight from Italy to Athens, Greece. So yes, I flew to Greece. So excited. So this is the first plane ride since my multiple episodes with the train. And thank God that was the end of my train era. To be honest, the train is not for just everybody, okay? Especially for somebody that's wheeling 3 luggages along, like, not recommended, okay? Just take flights and take taxis and travel, easy. So I get picked up from the hotel, I get on the bus, I'm sent to the airport, and then my flight was at 9:25 a.m. So then there was still time for me to go to the lounge, and I ended up spending some time at the prime class lounge, okay? Shout out to Amex. So I went to that lounge and I had some grapes and maybe some scrambled eggs. But your girl was tired. I was so exhausted with all of the ups and the downs and figuring out Rome, trying to squeeze everything in a day. I was so spent. When I sat on the plane, you guys, I just took a little silly video like, I'm dozing, I'm so tired. Wouldn't you know it, we arrive in Greece. And then I didn't even know this because I just felt a tap on my shoulder, only for me to open my eyes. Everybody has deplaned, and then the flight attendant was telling me to wake up to go. And in my franticness, I was like, oh my goodness, and I'm trying to get my belongings and all of these things, and I'm just thinking, wow, of all the people that walked past me, even my seating mates, like nobody thought, let me just wake this girl up. I was so embarrassed because it's one of those planes that drops you off at the tarmac. So then you literally come off the stairs and then you're standing there waiting for a bus to shuttle you to the airport. And I'm just so embarrassed because everybody could see that I'm not coming because I was sleeping, because everybody saw me sleeping and nobody said anything. Fast forward, I go and I grab my luggage. I'm just going through the whole thing, reading signs. I'm now in Greece. I'm excited. Then I keep reading the signs and it takes me to go pick up my luggages. Okay. Then I keep going and it's like, I don't know, goodbye in Greece. I don't recall. And then I stop and I'm like, wait a minute, can I go out of this airport? Is this legal? Where's the immigration line? Like, can I do this? I'm stood there and I'm like, I don't want any problems. Like this whole travel, I'm traveling by myself. Everything is planned. I cannot afford any delays due to not following rules and regulations. So I'm stood there and then I'm texting my sister. I'm like, I don't see the immigration line. I'm just here. I just arrived in Greece and it's telling me to leave the airport. And then quickly I pulled out ChatGPT. I'm like, I just flew in from Italy to Greece and I don't see an immigration line. What's up with that? And then that's where it said that because I was in a Schengen country, I didn't have to worry about that. And I'm like, So crisis averted. I go out, I grab a taxi. My hotel was in Kifisia. This taxi driver told me that I was outside of Athens, so he's going to charge me a surcharge. only for me to find out that that wasn't the case. I was still in Athens. But, you know, long story short, he dropped me off. He didn't even help in my luggage. But when I got to the hotel, I stayed at the Semiramis. It's such a colorful hotel. I really, really enjoyed my time there. When I got there, the receptionist was amazing. She even wrote me down some recommendations. The room cards have these Greek letters on it. It's just giving all of this like really cool vibe. The receptionist gave me a tour, and that was the very first time in any hotel that I've been to that actually gave me a tour. Like, they would normally just say, oh, we have the gym, we have the pool, we have this and that, you can do this and that, but nobody really showed me around. But this girl just showed me around. She wrote me some recommendations. I'm like, I want to go out, I want to go see the town, I want to do this, do that. She's like, here are the recommendations, you're good, sis. And I really appreciated that about her, and I think we became fast friends. I unpack everything because this is the longest stay in one place. When I was in Italy, I stayed longer, but then I split it between Roma and Milano. However, in Greece, I only planned to stay in Athens, so I decided I needed to take my time to sort my clothes out, make sure I hang the things that I'll be wearing while in Athens, and make sure that I had everything that I needed. And then I just watched a little movie to go back to bed. Okay, day 20. So day 20 was great. It was a relaxing day. I wasn't taking myself too seriously. However, I wanted to figure out my way about. I'm thinking, bus stop. Where's the bus stop? How much of a walking distance is that? And I found the bus stop. I waited for the bus. And one thing that I found out for the Athens buses too, they are never on time. You cannot rely on the buses. However, the trains, though, they don't play. The trains don't play, but the buses, one time I had to even walk. But let's not even get to that. It is what it is. You know, that's part of traveling. So I go on the bus, then I get to the train station, and I go straight to the city, and it was so beautiful. I decided to walk around. So I knew that I wanted to go see the Acropolis. That is like the highlight of visiting Athens. Everybody talks about the Acropolis, and I did have a fair idea that it was on the mountain, right? So when I went into town, I wanted to gauge to see if this was feasible for me to actually do, because I'm not trying to pass out on top of the mountains, okay? I'm not trying to do that. So I go to the township, I find my way to get to the train, what stops will take me to the Acropolis area. And then because I felt like so hungry, I just looked online, and I found, you know, literally on Apple Maps, I just looked up restaurants around me, and then there was one that kind of looked inviting, which was Leondi restaurant. And the people were just there, like in Greece, you go there and then everybody's trying to call you into their restaurant, like, oh, come, that sort of thing. So I found that their faces were more friendly and more inviting. So I went there, and yeah, they were like, hey, Americano, you good, what do you want, you want some water? I'm like, oh, this is really nice. And to think that people had told me that in Europe, when you travel by yourself, like, people don't really want to have you in the restaurants because it's just you and you'll be taking up too much space or whatever. I didn't find that to be true at all when I was traveling. So I went in, and I believe there was some spaghetti. I did the gyro. I did the tzatziki. I just ordered different types of food, and the waiter was so friendly. I don't know if he was a waiter or the manager or whatever, but he brought me this lemon zest. He's like, take shot. I was like, okay. So I drank that, and then he gave me a dessert. And I was like, thank you, but I'm not huge on dessert, you guys. If I ever go to a restaurant with you, if it's not a typical birthday cake thing, even so, like, maybe I'll taste it, but I'm not a huge dessert eater. So I kind of wasted it, sadly, but it was such a nice restaurant. It's in the open area, not far from the Acropolis. So after I ate my meal, that was my very first meal of the day, which I had it in the afternoon, I walked over to the Acropolis to kind of see what I would be dealing with should I decide to embark on that. So when I went up there, the museum was closed. So there's a museum right by the Acropolis. It was closed, but it looked really nice. I took some photographs and some videos over there, and then I just threw my eyes up to look at the Acropolis to see how much of a depth I'm going to be working with. What elevation would I be dealing with should I choose to go on this tour, right? So I look at it and I'm like, oh, okay. From the looks of it, it should be okay, right? So, I make a mental note and I'm like, okay, sure, cool. That evening, I had actually scheduled for the Big Bus tour. So I found that the Big Bus tour was very, very convenient. It's a good way to get a quick lap in the city while just moving about. And I thought, great idea. So I had booked that for the evening. So I still had some time after lunch and then after the Acropolis viewing. I still had some time and I just started looking on ChatGPT and I said, hey, can you help me find some lounge areas where I could just relax and wait for my tour in the evening? And then that's how I discovered Hotel Bretagne. I don't know if I'm saying it right, but I do think it's one of the Marriott hotels. Oh, it's a sight to behold. I went in and I was quickly greeted by the staff. I was ushered in. They asked me what I wanted. I'm like, okay, I'll just take a little mocktail here. They offered that to me and then they asked me, hey, would you like to read the newspaper or whatever? I'm like, sure, I will read the newspaper. Okay, I'm open to that. And I really liked it because it just felt inviting. The music was calm. It was such a nice place that I just felt like, oh, if I ever come to the city and I need to relax in between times, then I'll probably pop in there to just lounge before I continue my journey. So that was a great first time experience, and that AC was so welcoming because it was a bit hot that day. So I felt that the AC was very welcoming. And wouldn't you know it, the tour bus was really like a walking distance from that hotel. So I walked there, I got on the big bus tour, I got to explore Greece quickly. I was seeing all these historical sites from a distance. Again, I saw the Acropolis from a distance. So it all fell into place and I just thought, I really love Greece. And day 21 was a beautiful day because it was going to be a day filled with history that I had no idea that I will be learning. I did the mythology of Delphi, the Delphi Museum, and also the Arachova tour. So this day was quite interesting. It starts with a bus, so I had to wake up quite early to get to the city to join the tour company to go all the way to Delphi. So we're kind of going out of Athens for the very first time I was doing that, and they bussed us to this place, and it's almost like this mountainous area, and they show us the history, the Greek history, and I think that this deserves a whole short about it, so I'm not going to belabor the points, but I will say though that it was very interesting learning the history of the Greeks and about the wars and what people did, and the Athena and all of these names. I mean, I'm just going to try to give you some history, some education, but I will say do not rely on this video as your sole source of education. You should go visit the countries for yourself. Go do the same things for yourself, because at the end of the day, whatever I glean from it might be different from what you glean from it. I will do a separate short to kind of show you the Delphi, show you the museum. The only significant thing that happened on that trip was the rain. Oh, I was rained on, but thank goodness I had my raincoat with me, so I wasn't drenched or anything. I always carried my raincoat because you never know when the skies were about to give up. So I always went prepared. After the tour, I went back to the city. I was dropped off by the station, literally by the hotel that I went to lounge at, and I was able to catch a straight train to Kafisia, and I walked to my hotel. So that was a great day. I was super tired with all the climbing. Honestly, I was not prepared for all of that exercise. Now, day 22, exciting day. I had a jam-packed day. This is when I was going to brave the Acropolis, right? So starting off the day, again, had to wake up early, and the Acropolis tour, actually, it's crazy to me because when I decided on day 20, when I arrived and I went to the city to kind of figure out the route, I suddenly got lost because they told me to meet them elsewhere, and I just kept calling the guide like, hey, I don't know where you guys are. I think I know this area, but I don't know what you're calling. I don't know why we weren't just told to meet at the Acropolis. We had to meet at the company and then walk to the Acropolis. I didn't understand, and I wasn't about to argue about that. However, I just got lost. So they had to find me, and thankfully they did. So I was able to join the tour, and boy, that eyeballing I did with Acropolis. My eyes deceived me, okay? We kept going up and up and up and up, and I'm like, I keep looking down, I'm like, am I still going up? Ooh, this is scary. But let me tell you, it is so worth it. It is so worth it to be at the top of that Acropolis. And you can see the entire Athens. And it's so beautiful that initially I had only planned to do the Acropolis because I was thinking I would be so spent that I might not be able to continue this tour. So I decided after the tour to join them at the museum. So the museum is also beautiful, and actually it was built upon some ruins. So when you're going into the museum, the Acropolis Museum, as you walk through it, you would see on the floor some built, like, how do I say, these archaeological discoveries, you know, below, and then you'd see some artifacts or whatever. It's intriguing, actually. And then the whole museum has been built like the Parthenon, so it kind of shows you a proper replication of what it was before it got ruined, before it got destroyed. Because when you go there, you can see that it's still ruined. And I didn't know this, but what I learned is that they don't want to restore everything 100%. Even though they have the capability to do so, they prefer to have a certain percentage of the original versus the replacement. So what you would learn when you do these archaeological tours is they are trying to preserve history as much as they can. So you'd see broken statues and things like that, and that is absolutely normal when you go to Greece. And I thought that was interesting. You know, you can restore it to 100%, but then it takes away from what it originally was. But the whole museum is almost like a reconstruction of the Parthenon. I think I'm saying it right, and if I'm not, I'll correct myself in the word. So you pronounce it how you want to pronounce it, okay? I am not Greek. So that evening, after I finished the Acropolis and the museum, I still had some time before I had to go to my second tour booked, which was the Cape Sunion tour, and also the Poseidon. So that tour was in the evening. So I had some time between the museum visit and that sunset tour. So I decided to go back to that hotel lounge to go relax. Ordered myself a little cheeky sandwich, you know, enjoyed it. That was the longest stay there. And they also had very fast Wi-Fi. So I was able to catch up on some of my shows, my Korean shows while I was waiting. And I had this beautiful AC blowing, this nice music, and I was being treated so well. I just felt like I had this new air of aristocracy, you know, like I was just feeling very rich, very important. And then they would bring me water. They'll bring water and hold it with a napkin and pour it. You guys should check out that hotel. I'm just going to spell it out for you. So you go check it out. I can't pronounce it properly, but I know that it's Hotel Grand B something. After that, I took the bus to go catch my bus tour to go to Cape Sunion. Cape Sunion was beautiful. We saw the oldest amphitheater. That's where they had all those gatherings and whatnot. That's like the oldest. That's like the oldest in the entire history. So I saw that, and then after that, I actually got back on the bus, and then we were sent to Poseidon. And mind you, earlier in the day, I had already done the Acropolis that I didn't think I could do. My bones were hurting. So as I looked up at Poseidon, and then I looked at my legs, I decided to just relax at the canteen down below. But I was still able to catch the sunset. You know, I took some photographs from there, but I just felt like I wasn't ready to climb another hill. And frankly, another deterrent was the fee to go up to Poseidon was not inclusive of the tour. So I had to pay extra, even though it was quite inexpensive. I think it was maybe 20 euros or something like that. I just felt like I am just too tired to even venture that. So fast forward, moving on, I get back to my hotel. Your girl is spent. Like, she is so tired. I don't have like any energy left in me. I was super tired. The next day I had to rest, and that was day 23. Day 23, I decided to just walk about the hotel, see what the amenities are. I ended up going down to the pool area to sit about. I watched a bit of movies from my iPad, and then I ordered food at Wolt, and I ordered food for the afternoon. I had a little sushi situation. I'm like, let me try the sushi. But that was nice. It was such a relaxing day. And the next day was travel day. Day 24, finally leaving Greece to go to another cliffhanger. Well, if you really enjoy this, make sure you pause this video, hit the subscribe button. You guys, I need subscriptions. I am begging you, please subscribe to my YouTube, subscribe to my please help me grow. And also make sure you share with your friends. Leave a comment. I want to know what you're thinking. I want to know if you've been to any of these places that I've been to. What did you do? Was the experience different from mine? I would love to know. I cannot wait to be back next week to tell you all about what country I was going to. And just to let you know, there is so much to tell you. Stay tuned, you guys. But without further ado, have a wonderful weekend. Bye.